Hey, what's up MMA fans, it's MMA HeadSpace here, and today I'm going to be doing a very quick recap of what happened at Fight Night Pheonix, as well as talking about Ngannou versus DC, because Ngannou has now called out DC for a title shot, so we have to discuss it. Firstly, there was a bit of controversy around what actually happened in the Cain versus Ngannou fight, with Ngannou getting the TKO win in just 26 seconds into the fight, which is absolutely insane, but with Cain saying after the fight in the post-fight press conference that he blew out his knee, and it was a knee that put him down and not the uppercut that Ngannou had landed. Let's take a look at the clip in super slow motion and break it down. You can clearly see that Cain tries to adjust position for the takedown or to push Francis against the cage. Francis gets that nice short power uppercut and it lands right on Cain's neck/chin, which very clearly knocks Cain off balance. Whether he is knocked out or just a flash KO, it doesn't really matter because as you can see, Cain's foot doesn't really touch the ground before the shot lands. So it was definitely the uppercut that knocked him off balance. Then, as he falls down, he lands on the knee at a cringe-worthy angle that's not supposed to be that way at all, and I believe at this moment, the sheer pain from the injury actually brought Cain back around, as after this clip you can see him screaming out in pain, and I think that the pure pain for the injury just woke him back up. So he wasn't out cold, but well done to Ngannou for landing the shot and finishing the fight early. What a beast, guys. Now, after all of this unfolded, Ngannou went on blast to DC in the post-fight presser and said this.
How do you feel like you match up with Daniel Cormier? What does a fight with you and Daniel look like?
Well, I think he should come to avenge his teammate, and then I think that would be a good matchup. I'm going to get that done as well.
To which DC replied, saying this in an interview with Ariel Helwani.
You know, every time you see something like that, the emotions tell you, you go get it back. You know, you go make it right. And if that's something that we decide that we want to do, then that's what I'll do.
This is pretty exciting because the storyline is perfectly set up now. The narrative would be that DC can avenge his teammate and beat the monster that is Francis Ngannou. And as you heard him say, the emotions are telling him to fight Francis right now, but we know that DC normally picks fights with his head. He's close to retirement and wants those money fights, so we'll just have to see what happens. I think that Ngannou deserves another title shot, and he's done well against two great wrestlers now, finishing both off in the first round. So let's go. Set it up, Dana White. So now it's a matter of discussing whether DC would actually be able to beat Francis. I think all things considered, Ngannou is looking really amazing. Definitely bounced back from his loss to Stipe Miocic, although I'd like to see him fight him again, maybe in a second fight, and Derek Lewis too. Definitely the scariest guy in the UFC, and DC and Cain's Terminator style of coming forward and wrestling guys is a really bad matchup against a guy like Francis Ngannou, especially in that opening round where he is fresh, fast, and ready to knock you out cold. We didn't really get to see how Francis would deal against takedowns in the fight because the fight was finished so early on, in just 26 seconds, but let me know what you guys think in the comments because they might make this fight happen. There's a lot of money in it, the storyline's there, and the fans would definitely get behind it. There's a lot of questions surrounding this fight because Stipe showed us that in order to beat Francis, you really have to stay on your bike, stay out of danger, keep moving in those opening rounds, and drag him into deep waters later on. DC is faster than most heavyweights because he's moved up from light heavyweight, but I don't know if he has the correct movement to fight in that kind of style. He likes to dirty box in the clinch and wrestle a lot, but Ngannou is such a freak athlete that he could just outmuscle DC and then just knock him out in the clinch. Another thing that we haven't seen in recent fights would be how Ngannou can deal with that big height difference, and if he can land effective strikes against a quite small man in DC height-wise. I guess Cain is around 6 foot tall, but DC is somewhere like 5'10", 5'11", I'm not so sure, but definitely a lot shorter than other heavyweights that he's faced. So I'm not sure that it will make a huge difference, but it's definitely something to consider. DC went head-to-head against Stipe Miocic in a striking matchup and KO'd him in that first round. So let's not get into MMA maths, but let's remember how good our man DC has looked in the heavyweight so far. Finally, one other thing to consider would be the mental game. With DC's closest teammate Cain Velasquez getting TKO'd by Ngannou, he would definitely be going into this fight emotionally. So, will Ngannou get into DC's head? We might have seen that before in DC vs Jones, so we know it's possible to do that. And I don't know, just a talking point, so you guys can discuss it in the comments as well. So, here's what I want you guys to do. Comment your thoughts on last night's event. It doesn't have to be about Cain vs Ngannou, we can talk about other fights you enjoyed as well. The Kron Gracie fight was amazing and pretty cool to watch. So comment saying who you think would win out of DC and Francis Ngannou, and your reason for picking them as well. And finally, if you haven't already subbed to the channel, then hit the subscribe button because I'm churning out these videos and I'm here to stay. And if you want a full breakdown of this fight, then just let me know in the comments as well. Guys, I'm sorry that I couldn't get this video out sooner, but there was just no way to do it. I've been at work all day, so I've been in MMA HeadSpace. You've been amazing, and as always, peace out.